You are 32 years old, and you are sitting at your kitchen table, late at night. Everyone else in the house is asleep, and you are staring at your bank account, not because something dramatic happened, not because there was some big emergency, just because you finally decided to look, really look, for the first time in a long time. And what you see makes your stomach drop, not because the number is zero, but because you realize something in this moment that you have been avoiding for years. You have nothing to show for the last decade. You worked, you earned, you spent, you survived, but you built nothing. No savings worth mentioning, no investments, no plan, no foundation, just 10 years of paychecks that came in and went out and left almost no trace behind. And sitting there at that kitchen table, in the quiet of that late night, you ask yourself the question, that changes everything. Is it too late? The answer is no, but the honest answer is also this. It is harder now than it would have been at 22. The math is less forgiving. The time you had is gone, and no amount of wishing will bring it back. But here is what is also true. You are 32, not 62. You have decades ahead of you. Decades of earning, of building, of compounding. And the person who starts at 32, with real intention and real commitment, will always end up in a dramatically better place than the person who never starts at all. The question is not whether it is too late. The question is whether you are ready to do what your 22-year-old self was not ready to do. So you make a decision, right there at the kitchen table, at midnight. On a Tuesday, you decide that tonight is the last night. You stare at your bank account with that feeling. Tomorrow something changes. And this is the story of what happens next. The first thing you do is face the full picture honestly, not the version your mind has been telling you, the real version. You write down everything, every debt you have, credit card balances, car loan, student loans, if any remain, every dollar you owe to anyone. And then you write down everything you earn and everything you spend, every category, every recurring charge, every subscription, every habit that costs money. For the first time in 10 years, you can see your entire financial life laid out in front of you, and it is uncomfortable. It is supposed to be uncomfortable because you cannot fix what you cannot see, and you have been choosing not to see for a very long time. What you find surprises you, not because of one big problem, but because of how many small ones there are. 3 streaming subscriptions you barely use, a gym membership you have not visited in months, a credit card with a balance that has been sitting there, generating interest every single month, for longer than you want to admit, a car payment on a vehicle that costs significantly more than it needed to, and a pattern of spending that has no real structure, no intention, no direction. Money came in, and it just went, to whatever presented itself, to whatever felt good in the moment, to whatever the month required. And now you can see it clearly, for the first time, and seeing it clearly is the beginning of everything. The second thing you do is stop the bleeding. Before you can build anything, you have to stop losing ground. You cancel every subscription that is not actively making your life better. Right now, tonight, not someday, tonight. You look at your credit card balance, the one generating interest every single month, and you make a decision. This becomes your obsession, not a priority among many. An obsession. Every extra dollar, every sacrifice you can make, goes toward eliminating this debt. Because high-interest debt is compound interest working against you. Every single night while you sleep. Every single day while you work. And until it is gone, everything else you try to build is being undermined from underneath. You attack it, aggressively, relentlessly, until it is gone. While you are eliminating the debt, you do one other thing simultaneously. You build a small emergency fund. Not the full 3 to 6 months yet. Just enough to handle one unexpected expense. Without reaching for a credit card. 1 month of essential expenses. Sitting in a separate account. Available immediately. For genuine emergencies only. This one small cushion changes how you respond to the unexpected. Instead of every car repair or medical bill becoming a crisis that goes on credit, you handle it cleanly, without undoing your progress. And that changes the pattern. Because the pattern that kept you stuck for 10 years was this. Make a little progress. Something unexpected hits. Goes on credit. Undoes the progress. Start over. The emergency fund breaks that cycle. For the first time in your life. The debt is gone. It took longer than you wanted. There were months that felt hopeless. Months where the balance barely moved. Months where something unexpected hit. And you had to fight to stay on track. But it is gone. And the feeling of that, The specific feeling of seeing that balance hit zero is something you were not prepared for. Not just relief. Something bigger. Like a weight you did not fully realize you were carrying. Suddenly lifted. Like breathing full breaths. For the first time in years. And now, for the first time in your adult life, the money that was going toward that debt payment is free. Every single month. It is yours. To direct. To build with. To invest. So you invest it. Not all of it, but a significant portion. You open a retirement account. The kind that reduces your taxable income right now, while growing tax-advantaged over time. If your employer offers matching contributions, you contribute enough to get every dollar of that match. Because that match is the closest thing to free money the financial system offers. And you have been leaving it on the table for years. You choose a simple low-cost index fund. Not because it is exciting. Because it is proven. Because decades of data show that for most regular investors, simple and low-cost beats complicated and expensive. Almost every single time over the long term. And then you set it to automatic. The moment your paycheck arrives. Before bills. Before spending. Before anything. A portion goes directly into that account. Automatically. Without a decision being made in the moment. Without willpower being required. It just goes. And then you live on what remains. The first year of investing feels slow. The account grows. But not dramatically. Not in the way you imagined when you started. And there is a moment in the first year. A specific moment. Where you almost stop. Where you think, this is not enough. I am too behind. The people who started at 22 have so much more. I will never catch up. And that thought is real. And it is partly true. You are behind where you would have been if you started earlier. That part cannot be changed. But here is what you have to understand in that moment. The comparison is not between you at 32 and a version of yourself that started at 22. That version does not exist anymore. The choice is not between starting at 22 and starting at 32. The choice is between starting at 32 and not starting at all. And those two futures, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, look dramatically different. So you keep going. Year 3. Something starts to shift. The account has grown enough that the monthly gains are becoming noticeable. Not life-changing yet, but noticeable. And you understand now, in a way you could not have understood 3 years ago, what compound interest actually feels like. Not in theory. In your account. In real numbers. Growing. Month after month. Without you doing anything. Without you making any new decisions. Without you working any harder. Just growing. Because money that is invested generates returns. And those returns get invested. And generate more returns. Which get invested. And generate more. The base is getting larger. And the larger it gets, the faster it grows. Year 5. You are 37 years old. Your financial life looks nothing like it did 5 years ago. No high-interest debt. A real emergency fund. An investment account that has been growing consistently for 5 years. You are not wealthy yet. Not by most definitions. But you are building. Steadily. Consistently. Intentionally. And the feeling that replaced that late-night kitchen table moment is something you did not expect. Not excitement. Not pride exactly. Just calm. A quiet confidence that comes from knowing that your financial life has a direction now. That the decisions you are making are moving you somewhere real. Not just getting you through the month. Year 10. You are 42 years old. The investment account has grown significantly. Compound interest has been working for 10 years. The returns on returns on returns have built something that genuinely surprises you. When you look at the number, you started at 32, 10 years behind where you wish you had started. But you started, and you did not stop. And those two things, just those two things, made all the difference. Year 20. You are 52 years old, and you are sitting at that same kitchen table, late at night, everyone else asleep. But this time when you open your account, the feeling is completely different. Not dread, not shame, not that sick stomach drop. Something closer to disbelief. The good kind. Because what you built, starting from nothing at 32, over 20 years of consistent intentional decisions, is something that makes retirement feel real. Not a distant impossible dream. An actual plan with actual numbers. And you think about that night 20 years ago, when you asked yourself, is it too late? And the answer that sits in your chest now, it was never too late. It was just time to start. If you were sitting somewhere right now, feeling like you wasted your 20s, feeling behind, feeling like the window has closed. It has not. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. tonight, at whatever kitchen table you are sitting at. One decision made tonight changes the next 20 years completely. Hit that like button if this hit somewhere real. Subscribe right now. New video every single week on the real truth about money. I will see you there.